Behold, in your abject terror, the rotting, gnarled hand of Stalin rising from the grave to sling shells into the citadels of unsuspecting battleships. Hello, I am Xarkun, and this is World of Warships Legends. Today I've got a game for you featuring the legendary tier Soviet heavy cruiser Stalingrad, and it is played for us by the star of today's video, not me, but a fellow community contributor, a rather new addition to the program, Let 'em Peek, who is an avid streamer. I think what he mostly does is stream, and then he does occasionally post stream highlights with live commentary to his YouTube channel. You can find a link to that YouTube channel as well as his Twitch channel in the description of this video. If you are at all familiar with Spartan Elite 43, then you've probably heard of Peek's name before, since before he became a CC, Spartan was playing ranked with him quite a bit, and now he's got a channel of his own. So he's come a long way, and in this game he's going to go a long way with the Stalingrad. Now I, of course, am quite disappointed that the Stalingrad is no longer in my port, but I accept the fact that it was merely a one-week loan from Wargaming, and now it's gone. So when it returns to the store soon, I will have to fork over the 2 million global XP to play it again. And I do think it's worth every point of that 2 million global XP. I don't know what Peek's thoughts on the ship are, but he's going to play it pretty well today, and the enemy team is going to oblige him. In fact, we're going to see the enemy team do some very questionable things in this battle. Peek is heading toward the Charlie Cap, which is currently occupied by an enemy Alaska who's on quite low health, taking some shots, I think, from the friendly battleships in the center of the map. Peek, limited only to the armor piercing of the Stalingrad, is having a difficult time getting much more than some chip damage on the angled Alaska. But as the Alaska turns to flash a little bit more broadside and takes a wicked hit from a battleship, Peek is able to finish him off for the first blood medal, which is going to allow him to move into this Charlie Cap, potentially along with the friendly destroyer, who is, as of right now, sailing away from the cap. But note the enemy destroyer coming around the corner of this island 4 kilometers away. I believe it is a Z-23. Peek, aiming at the enemy Iowa out there, decides not to take the shot, perhaps waiting, yes, for this destroyer to come around so that he can easily finish him off. And just like that, there is one of the enemy destroyers down before the first 5 minutes of the match have even expired. A bad omen for any team whose destroyer goes down quite that quickly. Peek backing away from these battleships right now, taking a little bit of fire, but the armor of the Stalingrad, and this is an interesting thing because often ships that are brought from World of Warships PC to Legends, the console version of that game, have differences between them, and because I now have access to the PC game and can look at the tech tree on the PC client as well as view any premium ship ever added to the game through the use of a mod, I can tell you that the Stalingrad is actually more heavily armored in Legends than it is on the PC. On the PC, it has a 26mm bow with an icebreaker along the waterline, and of course that 26mm can be overmatched by 15 and 16-inch guns. So, in order to tank shots from battleships with guns of that caliber, you do have to bait the shots into your side armor. Not so with the Stalingrad on Legends, which has a 32mm bow, meaning that Peek eventually will be able to comfortably bow tank all of the battleships out there. And by the way, those battleships are sailing away to the back of the map. I don't know why, but I suspect it might have something to do with the fact that the red team has now lost both of their destroyers. Don't know what happened to the second one. Of course, Peek killed the first, but the second one went down shortly after that, and that opens this game wide up for the blue team. They've secured the Charlie Cap. I think there's a battleship moving into Bravo who may be able to secure it. Somebody shooting at this Iowa, though, somebody on the friendly team, and the Iowa is attempting to bow tank them, but because of Peak's position here in the Charlie Cap, he actually has a crossfire on the Iowa, and he's using it to good effect. The Iowa is nearly dead now, and this last shot here should be enough to hopefully finish him off for Peak's third kill. No, not quite. In true Spartan Elite 43 fashion, Peak leaves the Iowa with just enough health to be killed by somebody else. What a tragedy. In any case, the Iowa is down, so Peak turns his focus on to the Massachusetts and Xarkun first, out sailing toward the border of the map, perhaps in an attempt to escape this game, which is rapidly spiraling out of their control. Maybe they would prefer to find themselves on the Dos Hermanos map. Who knows? Peak taking a look on the other side of the map at the Iowa, who is angled away. No point in shooting at him, and normally what I would say is don't bother chasing these kiting battleships who are at the back of the map because they have no influence over the game. But what does it matter when your team has control of one of the cap, half control of another cap, and is up on ships with no destroyer support on the enemy team? Why not go after these kiting battleships who insist on giving flat broadside to the Stalingrad's guns? Eventually, when more of these ships are seen in standard battles, i.e. after more people have access to them than just the community contributors, well, people will learn to respect these guns a little bit more. I've seen some people say that the Alaska is basically the Stalingrad, right? It can do everything the Stalingrad can. I don't know. Take a look at these shots on the GK and the Massachusetts as this game goes on, and tell me if you've ever seen similar results from the Alaska. Now, you probably have. I have. But I haven't seen them quite this consistently. Take a look at that. Nasty hit on the Massachusetts with a Citadel, 6 regular penetrations, and 1 overpen. Peak is up to 124,000 damage. Stalingrad or Stalinchad? Some people might say the ship is overpowered. I think it's certainly borderline there, despite the fact that it doesn't even have any high explosive and is confined only to armor piercing. But of course, the armor piercing is ridiculously good. Extreme penetration values, shell velocity, and all that, capable of punching right through into the Citadel of a Massachusetts, not, of course, into the Citadel of a Xarkun first with its turtleback armor, but still, Peak had removed a lot of hit points from that guy as well. Taking some high explosive fire from somebody, and he is on fire, taking a look at the start screen, perhaps to see what his detectability range by sea is. Maybe thinks he needs to disengage, but nah. He's in the Stalinchad. This is no ordinary cruiser. Actually, it was the Xarkun first who shot high explosive. Interesting, because that is something to take note of if you see one of these ships in the wild and you are in a battleship. Unless you're in the Yamato, you are not overmatching its bow armor. And there's not a lot of superstructure to get pens on. You might take out the turrets with your armor piercing, and that's good, but what you need to do is switch to the high explosive, because you can wreck this ship very quickly with the high explosive. The GK is dead, of course, so he can't continue his campaign of high explosive rain down on Peak, but, you know, it is what it is. Iowa nearly dead as well. That salvo nets Peak the high caliber medal, and if you caught the amount of shells that penetrated there, it was 7, plus an over-penetration and a Citadel, so 9 hits, 9 guns. These guns are so consistent, so hard-hitting, so accurate. I just want this ship back. Honestly, watching this replay over again just makes me want to play the ship again because it is so very good. This last shot is going to finish the Iowa off, and Peak is going to end this game with an impressive 191,000 damage, and I think 2 kills, was it? Was it 3 kills? 4 kills, nearly a Kraken. How did I miss the other 2 kills? I don't know. In any case, thank you, Peak, for sending that one in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.